Welcome to another Down the Rabbit Hole video. This is my Digital Derby from the 70s, which is a toy that I wanted back in the 70s and finally got one. Really love it. I've done a few videos about it, including one of my Triple H where I kind of took this thing apart and showed what's inside. And also cleaned it up because I was finding that the battery contacts inside were getting oxidized, and so therefore, thanks to Deoxit, I managed to get this thing functional again, which is great. I'll just very briefly give you an idea of the game again here. We gotta fire up the start, and once you get past a certain stage, let's just see if we can get the game beginning. Ooh, there we go. Then essentially what I want to do is steer in such a way that I get past the cars. You change the gear down in the corner here, or you crash. And you want to use the reset to get past this. And essentially, let's see if we can do this without going past. Okay. You got me. Alright. Take note of how I'm resetting the game. I have to hold the power button or the start button because it's also a reset. And that allows me to continue the race. It's hard to do this while also... Yeah, I guess it's not too bad. Alright, let's see. And then, depending on how well you're doing, you get a maximum number of laps in the other lane. And also you can crash. Really, really great game. A really, really great toy. And then when you're finished, you get to see how many laps you've counted. Now, as great as this thing is, it's called Digital Derby. It is not digital by any stretch. It is all analog, cogs and wheels inside there. Uses up the battery fairly quickly, but it's a great sort of representation of those early electromechanical games, and it's something you can play in your hands. It's a great, great toy. I really, really wish I had had these back in the day. But of course, as you can tell from the thumbnail and title of this video, there's an app for that. This is Electro Derby, which is on Android. I'm playing it on my phone here, and it is a complete copy of Digital Derby. In fact, unlike this, which is claiming to be digital and is all analog, this is definitely digital. This is running on my phone. What they've done is very, very cool. They've actually made the game exactly the same, like right down to the fact you have to hold the power button to make the game start. The same sort of design. I'll show you that in a second. Also, they've mapped the controls kind of interestingly in a way that I think works better on a phone. Instead of you sort of twiddling your down here where the steering wheel is, just like on the original toy, they've actually made it so that you just slide this side of the screen up and down, and that is equivalent of moving the steering wheel back and forth. Also, on this side, you do the shifting, just like I did with the other toy here. I was moving this thing up and down with my actual physical thumb. You still do that with this app. Let me give you a little demonstration here. So much like the original toy, you hold in the the start button a few seconds. You'll see the timer expand in size. That means it's actually moving the needle. You can see there, it's actually moving the needle around till it's in the start position. If I let go right now, we're still not started. The original toy was like that too. You have to get that to the S for start. And then you can begin, which I think we're doing now. And of course I'm already dying. There we go. So, this is me. Yeah, you can see here, what I'm doing is playing through a swipe. I can move very carefully here. Oh, darn it. Hold the power. But it's a very good recreation of Digital Derby. I'm very, very impressed with this. I just thought when I saw this, because I've kind of been looking for, I've been kind of looking for a Digital Derby recreation or any kind of old electromechanical games on handheld in some form. Like I would have thought iOS and Android would have been a really good resource for this kind of thing. Recreate old machines of bygone eras, because they kind of really lend themselves well to it. Also, if anybody's listening who's a developer, I think VR would really work for that kind of thing. You know, let's get some of those old Sega electromechanical games in VR. That would also really, really work nicely. However, we're not here to talk about that. We are here to talk about Electro Derby, which is allowing me to recreate Digital Derby on my phone, and it's perfect. There we go, end of the race. I got 55 laps. Pretty good. The other thing that's really nice with this compared to this is you can actually turn down the volume. This thing, as you recall, super loud and clunky and grindy because it's got little cogs and wheels spinning around inside there. This thing, you can just increase or decrease the volume any old time, and you can make it as noisy and reproducing the original sound as we like, or you can turn it way down and make it a heck of a lot more pleasant to listen to. And it doesn't chew up C-size batteries, which this thing takes 2 of every time, and all that motorization, that's definitely using up power. This thing, it runs off your phone, so it's great. So I'm going to put a link below to Electro Derby. If you have, like myself, always wanted a digital derby as a kid, and you find they're too expensive, or you don't want to deal with all the hassle of the ancient hardware, get yourself Electro Derby. It's basically Digital Derby in a genuinely digital form, and I love it. All right, well, until next time, we'll see you down the rabbit hole.